It is time to go behind Blue Eyes, and I tell you what, Blue Eyes are shining and smiling today. Stephen Roach, how are you?
Timmy, I'm great, mate. And what an Origin win there last night for the Blues. They absolutely blew the Maroons off the park. Although the Maroons scored and had all the footy for the first 10, 15 minutes, that was a great comeback from the Blues.
And Stephen, we have to be on our very, very best behaviour because we've got an absolute treat this week on Behind Blue Eyes. We have the New South Wales starting halfback on debut for the New South Wales women's team tomorrow against Queen. Mel Howard, how are you?
Hey guys, how you going? I'm great. Very excited for tomorrow. And yeah, riding the boys high from last night.
Yeah, well, finally, hey Timmy, finally a little bit of glamour on the show. Hey, mate, what's been going on?
Lacking for many, many years. So thanks for that, Mel. Now let's start with us. Mel first, and then I'll go to you, Block. We've got three-way turf talk, and we can't see each other, so I'll try and keep as much structure to it as we can. What did you think, Mel? They really did hit the ground running, didn't they?
Yeah, the boys were pretty good last night. I thought, as expected, coming off a loss, I thought the boys would show up, especially sort of key playmakers with Nath Cleary and Cody Walker. So, yeah, it was very exciting to watch for us girls. And, we're hoping we can sort of continue that winning fashion.
Absolutely. What did you think, Block?
I thought it was outstanding. As I mentioned, the first 10, 15 minutes, they had all the ball and all the penalties and all that sort of stuff, scored the first try. But I just like our middlemen. I thought they were unbelievable. When everyone raised their eyebrows and in Freddie bench, and great to see Brown and Yeo and all those sort of guys get their debut. I thought Paulo was absolutely outstanding again when he's got the ability, just add something that a little bit different to their pack, able to stand in tackles, offload the football. But the other big thing for me was you think pressure Cody Walker was under. Like he got dropped last year, and then he wasn't used in the first game this year. There's plenty of pressure on. I thought his rep career was on the line, and that's the way to respond. The way that he played, I thought their kicking game was absolutely outstanding. But the great thing for me about the New South Wales performance was they had a bee in their bonnet. They shouldn't have been in that position after the first game, but they came out and you could see the desperation.
We had an immortal Andrew Johns, one of the absolute greats of the game, saying that he probably should be rested. That's quite a bit of added pressure for a young guy like that.
You're certainly right, Tim. But look, Nathan Cleary, I love his attitude of just how calm he is. I mean, this will be great for Mel to look at and just have a look at how they don't rush things as a halfback and all that sort of stuff. And I just thought his kicking game was unbelievable last night. But what made his kicking game even better? Not only Queensland didn't put any pressure on him from marker, but not only his kicking game, but the chases like this. You got to rush back and get the footy, turns up to pick it up in the in-goal area, and Addo Carr's right on his burner. So look, I thought his kicking game was absolutely outstanding, but it's the attitude, Timmy, the calmness, and doesn't hear the white noise on the outskirts of the media and people in the press and all that saying all this sort of stuff, that they probably shouldn't. But anyway, it sells papers, and I just love the way that he didn't hear any of the white noise.
It's interesting, isn't it, Mel? Like the whole mind game when it comes to elite sport, and you're about to play a huge game. But look, just having a look at some of the different articles and interviews that you've conducted over the past little while, and you bring up the whole point that you have let go a little bit. You've found interest beyond football, which has helped you when you have to switch on.
Yeah, so obviously COVID was a bit of an interesting time, and footy was kind of on pause for a while. So yeah, that kind of helped me this year switch off when I am at footy, and kind of when I'm at training or a game or whatever, I'm sort of a lot calmer going into those games. Which I think as a halfback, if you're kind of stressed out or anything, that kind of affects everyone. So yeah, that's been helpful for me this year.
You've got a fairly big name in Brigginshaw. Everyone brings it up every time because just one of those dominant players of an era, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. And, she's obviously been around a while, and she just always seems to have more time than everyone else with the ball. So, for me, I kind of, obviously I admire her as a player, but, we'll be trying to get at her, I think, game day tomorrow. And hopefully she has quite a game.
Absolutely. And Blocker, you had the opportunity, the unique opportunity to be in that position in the commentary box to call the pointy end of the season in the women's competition.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And this isn't, taking anything away from the ladies' game. The first couple of years that I saw it, they had to work a lot on their skills and all that. But now I'm so impressed with the quality. It was always going to take a while for the girls to get into that mode. And, even going into camp and doing these origin things and playing for New South Wales and Australia, I can see the evolution of the game just improving. Every time that I watch it, I'm sort of sitting back and looking and going, geez, mate, they're great bloody athletes. There's no doubt about that. And, having a look this year at the girls coming from the rugby union and getting the opportunity to play rugby league and just listening to them talk about it and their impact that they had on the game. I'm talking about Green and those sort of players with their speed and their power and their ability to break tackles. And I just think it added so much to the game. And hopefully those sort of girls are in love with rugby league now and can find a way. I know that a lot of them have got the Olympics coming up and all that sort of stuff. But after that, let's hope they can come back and play rugby league, because they certainly added a lot to the game. And, mate, there's a lot of people out there now that, probably, and mate, I've got to admit, I was one of them when it first started. I was thinking, wow, we're going to get these girls playing Origin and playing for Australia and all that sort of stuff. But, gee, it's a great avenue now. And, the game's taken off, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of fans that will watch New South Wales with interest tomorrow when they play against Queensland.
I'd like Mel to have been on a bit of a crest of a wave in the sense of the growth, and thankfully so, as a father of a 13-year-old girl who loves in this country and around the world.
Yeah, I think the growth since that first year has been pretty crazy. Obviously, the rugby girls this year brought a lot to the game, and it was even just training sort of along plays like Charlotte Caslick, Grace Hamilton, kind of the work ethic they bring, and, just slightly different variations of how they play sort of our game was really nice to see. So, yeah, I'm really excited for sort of the future and where the game is going to get to in sort of the next few years. And hopefully I'm still around and a part of it. Yeah, it should be good.
Hey, Tim, would I be able to ask Mel a question, mate, if you don't mind?
You have
Mel,
my permission, Stephen.
Thank you, mate. Who's a mentor of your game?
Probably as growing up, my brother was a halfback, so I kind of followed him a lot, and he helped me kind of a lot with my kicking and passing skills. But in terms of the men's game, I kind of have always liked to watch Cooper Cronk. I think, he's sort of a smaller player, not too, doesn't pull out the big plays or something too flash or anything, just kind of, gets the team around the park and puts in good kicks. So I feel like, for me, that's kind of what I do and kind of my focus. So
I've seen you tackle, Mel. Did you smash your brother in the end a few times in that backyard?
When we were younger, we were pretty similar size. So I think at the start I was sort of dominating him in tackling and stuff. But he kind of shot up fairly quickly and I stayed pretty little. So I think in the end he got me.
Blocker, speaking about aggression, it was a bit of a wind back to the good or bad old days, whichever way you want to look at it, with those two big boppers. We've seen today that they're both going to be cleared to play. I'll talk of Payne and Tino here. But it was it got fairly feisty there for a minute.
Well, I was at the ground, Tim. I reckon it was the biggest cheer of the night. With maybe we've gone too far the other way, like State of Origin, and a lot of people were talking about it the last couple of weeks that we've started to lose a little bit of that man-on-man, game-on-game, a bloke that we hate. We've had a lot of blokes that we hated over the years, and it was always, only on the field for 80 minutes and then it was over. So it's a collision sport. Tempers are always going to flare. And look, I'm glad that they come to their senses last night and they're talking about today. Mate, find the players, or give them 10 minutes in the sin bin or do something like that, rather than, they were talking about they were going to have to miss, a game as in the decider up there in Queensland. I'm glad that didn't eventuate. And I'm glad that they, hurt them in the hip pocket or give them 10 minutes in the sin bin. That's enough, mate. People love the aggression. Now, if we take that out of State of Origin, then, mate, we might as well just keep watching club games.
Tell you what, it's a pretty good spectacle, even without it last night. Boy, some of those tries were extraordinary from the very first one onwards. Mel, my son, he's a massive Roosters fan. He was cheering you guys on grand final day. Went every high and every low, and you were right in it. It must have been heartbreaking in the end.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we probably were the better team, but sort of that second half we didn't complete sets when we needed to, and obviously that's really important. And I think in the end that sort of cost us. So yeah, I think the biggest thing for us was we know we could have won, but yeah, kind of next job for us now is Origin, and then yeah, I think a lot of the girls are keen to sort of try again next year and go one better.
That club. I've spoken to Joe Kelly and Jared and others in and around it. It's the one thing that gets lost a little bit on the Roosters is how well it's run.
Yeah, there's a lot of people kind of behind the scenes doing a lot of work, and I know that the female team is just a big part of the club, and we all feel very valued and respected and kind of very much looked after. And sort of off that, you know, we built a good team culture this year, and just through the coaching staff. Yeah, we kind of just had a really nice year together. So hopefully we'll build on that.
Blocky, what about game 3 in Brisbane? Now, Anastasia Palaszczuk, she's got that border closed till about 2045. So I don't know when any of us are going to get back to Noosa. But we've got the momentum.
Fly in, fly out. That's what I reckon. Attack madly. As soon as we get up there off the plane and straight to the ground, and let's do it and then go home. I mean, if they don't want us to stay up there, bad luck. We'll do the job and then go home. There's no doubt about that. I thought, you know, we talked about the first game, Timmy. It should have been, shoulda, coulda, whatever. I mean, it should have been 20-0 at half time, and New South Wales didn't come out in the second half in the first game. They got the bee in the bonnet. Now, Freddie will be drumming into the team now that, mate, we've got to go up there. I can't see how Queensland are going to stop those boppers, mate. It was quite evident last night. You know, you look at blokes like Friend and that doing 51 tackles, which is a great effort. I never ever doubt that bloke's courage. He is unbelievable. But when I look at the side of the New South Wales side with those boppers, and I keep mentioning them on the bench, how they just rolled over the top of Queensland, mate. It's one thing to say, "Oh, look, I'm going to stop that." It's another thing being able to do it. They were assaulted last night through the middle, and I don't know whether they've got the calibre of players to be able to stop that onslaught. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Jake Trbojevic, as well as his defence, he played beautifully, didn't he? As a first and second receiver, he really did have a dominant attacking display in creating another link, didn't he, to the outside guys?
Yeah, we saw him do it last year in Perth when New South Wales had to win that game. Remember that they won that one quite comfortably too. And he's just got the ability of holding the ball out in two hands. And that's what I'm saying about, you know, I was saying about a lot of the players today are a little bit one-dimensional. That's why I always rave on about Trbojevic and also rave on about Junior Paulo. If he skips out 120 kilos, you see the footwork on him and the ability to stand in tackles and offload. I just love that something special that players have got, rather than the norm, tucking the ball under your arm, finding your elbows and your knees and playing the ball. Boring. We need players that we can all follow and we all enjoy watching.
Well, one of the extraordinary talents of both the men's and women's games is in your side, Mel. Kezie Apps, how much do you guys gain confidence from watching the way she operates in both attack and defence?
Yeah, she's a very experienced kind of head to have in the team, and for her to be included in the game and sort of get through her injury, yeah, it's a big sort of addition for us. And for me personally, I've played with her before, but she's just come on and off the field, and sort of, you know, if you're next to her attacking or defending, you just know what she's doing. Yeah, and I think it just relaxes everyone a little bit.
How do you think tomorrow's game's going to go?
I think, yeah, Blues to win.
Good on
Blues
you,
to
Mel.
win, absolutely. Keep the dominance, but know that they secretly tape behind Blue Eyes. Blocker, where do you think New South Wales will win it?
I just think you just got to have that attitude. I reckon one of the great advantages for the girls, and Queensland have got that too, just the ability to go into concentrating on rugby league. You've got to have that ability to be able to, once you do all your work that you need to do during the day, you've got to have that ability to be able to turn off. You know, it's going to be interesting. Look, Queensland, I don't really know about the ladies' record up there in Queensland. I would imagine it'd be a little bit similar to the New South Wales men. So we've only won as a sider in Queensland twice. Like we've won a few games up there when we play up there Lang Park, I call it. I can't call it Suncorp Stadium, but I know the girls are playing the Sunshine Coast. But in the men's game, look, you just got to beat it mentally, and the girls are the same, mate. They just got to go in with that belief, and I reckon it's a great advantage to be together for so long, and then all of a sudden, go out and play to what you know and what you've learned.
Yeah, well, all the very best, Mel. I know that line isn't all that good, so I'll keep talking with Blocky for a few minutes more just about this other game. But all the very best to you and the team.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
No worry, absolute pleasure. Block, I just wanted to finish it off with what it's like being in Queensland as a New South Welshman. It's obviously a little bit different in COVID time, and Benny Elias always tells that story about when he got in the cab and the cab driver says, "You look a bit like that Benny Elias." This is in Brisbane. He goes, I am. He goes, "Well, get out of my cab. I'm not driving you anywhere."
Get out of my cab. Yeah. Oh, no, mate. They're parochial up there. No doubt about that. Lawyers and doctors and everything wear footy jumpers of the game. They've got their Queensland jumpers on. They love it. There's no doubt about that. But, mate, to tell you the honest truth, I love it. I reckon it builds the atmosphere up there. You would have done it a few times, Timmy, driving down Caxton Street before the game and all that sort of stuff, or walking down Caxton Street. The atmosphere and the build up to the game look. There's no other place like it. So it's intimidating, but you've got to put all that out of your head. It's a decider. New South Wales need to go out there, and I reckon Freddie would be saying, "Look, we've done it twice in deciders. You guys get the nil in the series, and if you go up there and win the series, well, mate, you definitely have been the better side."
Oh, they are unrelenting, aren't they? Absolutely. Look, I'm married a Queenslander. I was at Caxton Street last year doing a story for Sky News, and this whole bunch of blokes at the pub started chanting at me and pointing at me, "You got sacked from Channel 9, doodah, doodah." So it was so good to get the win. That's why those wins are so damn good, Block.
It is what it is, and without both sides of the border, we wouldn't have State of Origin. It's been going for 40 years, mate. So I take my hat off. I love the way the Queenslanders are passionate about their football side. And, mate, we saw last night, they're near on 40,000 there at ANZ Stadium with COVID. So, mate, people love it. There's no doubt about it. But, there'll be a sea of maroon up there. You just got to find a way to defeat it in your own head. Go up there and take the biggies.
How good would it be if we win with the girls on the Sunshine Coast tomorrow? So all the best with obviously Mel and her team. And then next Wednesday night at Suncorp, that would be some sort of double. Steve and I hopefully will be talking next Thursday, going behind very, very happy blue eyes again. Good to talk.
No, you're right, Timmy. Thanks for your time, mate. And it was very, very interesting talking to Mel. Good on her, and wish her well in a debut game. What pressure that is up there away from home, playing in your first game at number 7. I mean, could it get any tougher than that?
Even better if you get the win.
You're right, Timmy. See you, champion.